All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Levi Blue Show, where we talk about life, overcoming daily struggles, everything in between. I'm your host, Levi Blue. How's everybody doing this evening? What time is it, Tank?
About 6 p.m.-ish.
Getting close.
It's 6 a.m. We do these every morning. Yeah.
Closely. We release them almost every weekend morning. So, all right, you have a good day so far?
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was decent.
Yeah?
I mean, I had to work in the shop, so I got some stains on my shirt. And, whatever. It's all good.
Right on. So, who's this guy next to you? Tell us who this guy is.
And it's some weirdo. I think his name's Danny, something like that.
It's our buddy, Danny Davis. Danny, how you doing this evening?
I'm good. What's up, fellas?
How you doing? You scoot over. Just come. There you go. All right. And then we have our brother, Johnny P. Johnny P, how you doing, brother?
I'm great.
Yeah.
A little tired, but I'm great.
A little tired?
Jay Pizzle and the Hizzle.
How was your day, though?
It was long.
Long?
Yeah.
Scoot towards me a little bit.
Don't talk to me like that.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we're glad everybody's here today. And today's going to be a fun episode, but it's also going to be an honoring episode. We won't tell anybody yet. We're just going to jump right into our favorite part of the show. You guys ready for this?
Fire.
All right. Here we go. Let me see if I find it. Oh, that's not it.
Fun facts of the day and useless information.
Johnny, are you ready?
Yeah. What's the point of the drum roll you're going to ask me if I'm ready to go? Captain Crunch's full name is Horatio Magellan Crunch.
Bruh.
Yeah. What?
It's true. I looked it up. It's pretty cool.
Who told you that? Rabbi
Google.
Rabbi Google.
I was like, fun facts. Hurry. Then I left my phone. It was all bad.
Google can't lie, right?
Tank, what you got?
So I went with fun facts for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
This week. I thought it was kind of cool because did you realize that Oklahoma City installed the world's first parking meter in 1935 to prevent early arriving workers from taking parking spots from customers?
Really?
Yeah, that's weird.
That is weird. All right. Well, that sounds interesting.
Womp, womp, womp.
Well, actually, I think me and Steven used to have a womp womp, didn't we?
Yeah, womp womp womp.
I can't remember. Now we got this one.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. So here's mine. Hot water will turn into ice faster than cold water. Did you know that?
Yeah, I learned that in 7th grade science class.
Oh, good for you, pal.
Overachiever.
Actually,
that was his last year in school.
That's when he graduated.
We're a little quicker in Wagner, but
Hey, I did learn something new. I never really thought about it, but it said Mona Lisa has no eyebrows. Did you guys know that?
Yes, the painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wondered did she really have them and they just didn't put them on there because there's not any in the picture, or she didn't have any and they added them to the picture. It was one or the other.
So you think that they were adding things back then too, like
Probably.
fake eyelashes and earrings?
I think since time's beginning, there's been a seeking acceptance outside of myself going on. And I think that was part of it, that, we got to make her look better so people will like my painting.
Yeah.
Or, oh my God, she's got bushy ones. We're not bad nose to her picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
she had a unibrow.
She probably did, actually. They were like, we're going to...
Thick, too, like my beard.
Think how different she'd looked if they'd have kept it on there. It would have been a bad deal.
Danny, do you have a fun fact for us?
I do not.
Yeah?
I do not. I did not come, I guess.
At least that prepared for that segment of it. Yeah, it's all good. All right, well, that has been our...
Fun facts of the day and useless information.
Oh, did you have another one?
I had like 4 of them, but it's okay. No, it's okay.
Okay, all right.
We're good. We're good.
Actually, before we get into the best part of this show, I actually had a couple of questions. I always think of random questions that I want to ask you guys.
Of course he does.
Yeah, I actually put it on the YouTube channel that people comment. And actually, someone commented on it, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask you guys: would you rather never be able to laugh again or never use your smartphone again? Johnny, what about you?
Dude, laughter is important.
Goodbye, cell phone.
Yeah.
What about you, Danny?
Cell phone's got to go.
Oh, I know that's right. Tank?
To me, laughter actually enhances my spirit. You know, if I couldn't laugh and be a jokester, I mean, come on, think about it, bro. even your wife, we are characters. If I
Yes.
had to remove that, so yeah, take this
Yeah.
and do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's right. And then actually, a couple of days before that, I asked if there's one thing you could do that you knew you couldn't fail. What would it be? What would it be, Johnny?
Oh,
One
man.
thing.
With my record, get married, bud.
You said it, not me.
I wonder if she's listening.
She would.
She's. This is how I feel about that.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome. Watching you.
What about you, Danny? What's one thing you would do if you knew you couldn't fail?
Wow. I don't know.
It's
That's a hard one.
It is definitely tough.
Yeah. So, me and my wife, she watches The Voice, like, religiously. I think I'd probably sing.
You would
Yeah.
sing.
If I knew I couldn't fail and I could win The Voice, oh, yeah. Yeah.
I would. Yeah, that's it. So I'm glad you said that because I would play football. I'd be a quarterback. We'd just go play football.
I just want to take a minute to say that when Miss Kathy watches this, she now knows that Danny is jealous of The Voice and he wants more attention.
Probably.
Yeah. And,
That's what I heard.
and I would definitely be on Team Reba, okay? Not Snoop.
What about you, Tank?
Man, something I could do that I would do if I knew I couldn't fail.
There's so many different options.
Yeah, for real. So, I mean, man, I don't know.
Just do something funny, something silly.
Run a triathlon.
Or run, period.
Hey, I can run a good 5 to 10 feet, okay?
All right, that's funny. All right, I would ask this last one. Let's go ahead and do it. I think it's a good one. If you could sit on a bus with Jesus, what would you talk about? But you only have 5 minutes with Jesus. What do you think, Johnny? 5 minutes with Jesus on a bus, and time is a ticking.
Man, how do I understand women?
What do you think, Danny?
Man. That's
another tough one.
yeah, it is. I mean, you could have like asked us before the show.
No, he does this to
think
us every
about
week
it.
lately. Just last week, it was, what was the hardest thing you ever had to do? Oh, my God.
Man,
Just kicks you in the shins from the get-go.
You're
I
welcome.
want to talk to him about before everything started getting into Bible. Like, really, what was his childhood like? What before he become a man? Before he become actually known? I guess.
Okay, I see. Yeah, it's funny because there was a joke where they had cause it was a comedian said, I wonder if Joseph was like, here, take this water and stick your finger in there and make wine into it. Which we know that that his first miracle wasn't until he was older, but that's what it was. Yeah, but. You kind of wonder if he went to a kid's party, he's walking on the water, and they're like, "Hey, come here, get down." So, but yeah, that's definitely a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Tank?
I just want to, like, shoot the breeze with him and ask him, man, was there a lot of chafing going on? How did your feet feel walking all them miles in those sandals? I want to know, like, how did you cope with that? I mean, really, like...
That's a good question, man, because I did a lot of walking in my addiction, and my feet were bad.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, man, how did he...
Irreparable damage.
Watching the TV show we watch, I'm not going to say, even though they probably wouldn't do nothing with us, but the TV show.
Yeah.
But watching that and seeing how many miles him and his apostles walk,
Talking
I'm
about the
thinking,
corns, huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm thinking, man, my feet would look like a like a gravel road. I mean, you know what I mean? Just
yeah.
knots everywhere on them, and just tore up from the floor up. So I'd like to just know, hey man,
and all this.
how did you? I mean, seriously, be honest with me. How did you persevere through that?
Yeah.
You know, or was it just that painful, and you just had your faith, which it probably would be. Probably gonna say my faith was just that strong.
Well, after a certain time, you feel you build up a tolerance and you can handle
Well,
it.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm curious.
Oh, yeah,
I'm curious about all that. Really.
That's exactly like he said, the tolerance.
Yeah.
I think about stinky feet. You know what I mean? People got stinky feet, especially with like animal feces.
Well, that's why they always washing them in the Bible.
Well, that's true, but
Yeah, I'm just curious because you know, bathing was different.
Oh, yeah.
You know, hygiene was way different then, and then what they wore. I mean, I'm thinking of chafing, you know, downstairs and stuff like that. I'm not trying to be gross. I'm just saying,
G-rated
No,
show,
no.
bud.
it is a G-rated show.
No,
but
no,
it's real life.
you're absolutely right but there's levels to it. If you was probably in a palace or something, that you would probably were more taken care of than someone who lived out on the road. You know what I mean? So,
Exactly. So that's why I would ask Jesus, because
Yeah.
I don't remember him living in any palace other than God's palace, which is,
right.
you know, where we're all living right now.
No,
which
I
is
got
not
you.
necessarily a palace. It's a world full of ugh.
Yeah, but I think that they probably didn't think about it like we would. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that was their life. You know what
True.
You know what I mean? It
True.
was just their way of life.
That is true.
So,
But it had to be painful. I'm just saying.
oh yeah.
At least I believe. Maybe my belief is wrong.
Yeah, but you was raised with shoes, so I mean, you don't
I
know
was
any
raised
better.
in Wagner, and I ran a lot of asphalt streets with no shoes on my feet.
I've been
we
there.
have two Wagner guys here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we know a lot of the same guys.
I was about to say when Johnny said he was running, I was like, yeah, ran in a long time. He maybe used to run anyway, but you said you used to run,
Yeah,
so
I don't know more.
see Johnny running anymore.
I'm fast.
Yeah. Did you bring your running shoes on today?
I did, but I got this girdle on and I can't really do it right now.
He said I got a girdle on.
Then you pray for our brother. All right, so yeah, let's just go ahead and segue into this. So those who have been keeping up with the show, Steven Jay Dow passed away September, I think it was the 15th, I believe it was, and so we're going to honor him today. So when I first started doing this, I remember Steven walked by me at the church, and I go, "Hey, you want to do a podcast with me?" And he's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah," and he goes, "All right, let's do it. When we starting?" And that was kind of our conversation. And then, you know, when we did the first few episodes, and I remember I tell him to kind of come prepared, and he's like, "No, I'm going to shoot from the hip." And I was like, "Okay, Steven, thanks." You know, and so, but it's funny, I would come prepared, but he would feed off what I would do. And, you know, but I just love how he was so witty. He would just, you know, there's some of the things he would say, "I want to make a t-shirt." Like when we first did the episode with you and I, he was like, "What do you mean it's Saturday?" And it was just like, because the things we were talking about early in the morning, so we ain't had our coffee yet, and he's already talking about certain things. And so, you know, so that was always cool, you know. But one of my favorite things about Steven was just, you know, like I said, how witty he was. But he was real. He was so sincere.
Yeah.
And one of the things he wanted, what we were doing, he wanted it to be like fun. He didn't want it to be like, look at the camera and the Lord says, praise the Lord. You know, he didn't want it to be, you know, I mean, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, but he wanted to be, so that's why we treat it like a radio show. That's why we have fun on here. That's why we laugh. Some of the things that we do on here is because something he and I started. And so, but Tank, actually, since you're kind of the I'm gonna pause with you only because since we have Danny as our guest today, I'm gonna let Danny go first.
Yes.
Lord, oh Lord.
Yeah.
Yes.
So get your tissues out, ladies and gentlemen. And so, Danny, just tell us a few things that you remember about Steven and how you want to honor him today.
So, whenever I first got here, I got out of treatment, got into Tulsa. I started going to church, and it was this thing called CR.
Yeah.
I didn't know what CR was. You know, what is CR? Who is CR? So, yeah. I go in, we do our praise and worship, we do our little study, and then we go to a men's group. And there was some specific guys in the men's group that I don't know what they seen in me or why they did, but Steve Dow was one of the first ones that came up to me after the first time I was there, and he had not a problem giving me his name, his phone number, what he did, who he was. And they just become, I mean, an automatic just friendship that quick.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it was just crazy. And just him from that point would mentor me. He'd become a brother, and he'd become a spiritual father to me, because there'd be times he'd come into work and he could tell that there was something going on in my pea brain, you know, and he'd, you know, what's up? What's going on? Nothing. I'm good. You know, but he would not leave me alone until we just had to sit there and talk. And I would release whatever I needed to talk about. And he would help me get through situations.
Yeah.
I mean, like a best friend, like a dad, you know. And I mean, as we just grew together, and he helped me through a lot of things since I've been here. And in a little over 5 years, he helped me get through a divorce. He helped me get through 4 really close relatives that passed away, really close to each other. Whenever I wasn't even over 1, another one passed. So, you know, I was having a hard time there for quite a while.
Yeah.
But he was always there for me to just...
Lord bless him.
Just hug.
Yeah. So you show a side that a lot of people didn't see, that, you know, Steven was very, he was like a father figure, or even like a grandpa, or just a big brother. You know what I mean? He really was. You know, the cool thing, I liked when I had him on the show, because he was so witty, he was so funny, but he would say such most profound things. Like, where did that come from? Like, it was so good. But let me ask you this, Danny, would you say that he was kind of the same way with you, with just the sarcasm and just how witty he was?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Were there times, because every time he and I would talk, and I'd be like, Steven, are we being serious right now? Are we being funny? And he's like, I'm just playing. And I was like, well, I couldn't tell because you had an attitude or something, you know?
That's another thing.
Yeah,
His attitude. Well, I don't know how many times me and him would have it out in the shop.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
And, I mean, he's yelling at me, I'm yelling at him. He's throwing stuff, I'm throwing stuff back. You know, but within a couple hours, if not within 15, 20 minutes, he'd always come back, and we would talk it out. We would hug it out, tell each other we love you, and, you know, and we would just move on.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many stories that I have in just the short amount of time that I knew him.
Yeah.
There'd be times I'd come in the morning, and he always got here to the ministry house, you know, way early, just to clean or whatever. Nobody knows what he was really doing. But he'd have the ministry house just jamming. You'd hear it from outside. And I'd walk in, and it looked like a bad John Travolta movie, boy. He'd be out there just dancing and scooting and moving, and it's like, and you know, he'd stand there for 5 minutes, then he finally turns around and says, "What?" Nothing, Pops, nothing.
Man, so while you collect some more, kind of collect yourself there, Johnny, you actually have something very special that you're wearing. You want to explain that to us, so we can all see that?
When I first started this program, I finally got paid, and I went to the thrift store down the way, and I got a couple shirts. This was one of them. And one day we was in the bathroom, and Steven walks in and he sees me wearing it, and he's, "Man, I love that shirt. I love that shirt." We had just got into it, so I didn't want to hear him.
No,
It
not Steven.
just happened to be coming on Christmas, though, and I'm like, God kept telling me, "You gonna give that man that shirt?" And I'm like, "No, I ain't. I like it." But anyway, I go home and I put it in in a cereal box. And I taped the cereal box up because I don't have no wrapping paper or nothing like that. And he's over at the church. We're setting up for something. I carry it over there. And I'm like, Steven, here, Merry Christmas. And he's like, I don't want no cereal, Johnny. I just ate. I said, Steven, here, take it. He's like, I'm not hungry, John. He's getting mad at me at this point already. He's like, I don't want that cereal. I was like, Steven, just open the box. Can you see it's been open? Just open the box. And he opened the box, and he started crying. And then he just spent 30 minutes telling me how much he loved me and how much he appreciated it. And so when he went on, it bothered me to do it, but I asked his wife. I said, hey, you think maybe I could have that shirt that I gave Steven that he wore to your wedding? Because I didn't know how she was going to feel about it because he wore it when they got married, you know.
He sure did, didn't
But
he?
she didn't have a single problem giving it back to me, and then ain't nobody else ever going to get it from me.
Man. what kind of cereal box was it?
It was like some kind of generic Cheerios or something like that. I figure he didn't want it because it didn't have no sugar in it.
I figure a Fruity Pebble kind of guy you are, huh?
I like Fruity Pebbles. Go ahead. It's a G-rated show. But.
Tank, let me. You had the least amount of time with us with Steven, but you also have I think some of the greatest shoes to fill. And and Steven, you just go ahead and tell us how Steven presented to you to come on the show and take his spot, if you don't mind doing that for me.
Yeah. So we were standing in the hallway right outside the sanctuary, and he walked up to me and he goes, "Hey man, it's been awesome that you've been on the show, but I got some things I'm going through, and I would like it if you would continue the podcast with Levi. I think it would be an honor if you would do it, brother." And that was like the first time he ever called me brother, and I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, I really think that you can bring something to this show that will benefit it, and I have some things I need to work on. Most of us realized what that was. Yeah. He had some stuff going on, and God rest his soul now. Yeah. But yeah, it was cool the way he grabbed me. Like, he literally grabbed me and pulled me right by the classroom.
He does that.
Yeah. And when he like, it was so intense. Like, he was, you could tell it was not a joking moment. It was a serious moment. Hey, man, I've got some things I got to look at and work on, personal, and he didn't say nothing at that time.
Yeah.
But the way he said it would be an honor, brother, if you would continue the podcast with Levi, stay on the podcast with Levi and keep it going. And I said, I would be honored to, even though I don't know that I can fill your shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have to fill his shoes. That's the thing, because his shoes are always in here with us. You and I have discussed that, and he's always in this podcast with us, no matter what. I'm not filling his shoes. I've just added another set of shoes.
I like that right there. That's good.
Yeah.
Add another. Yeah, and that's just an expression. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the thing is that, man, without him, you probably wouldn't have ever started it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I cannot, in my right mind, say, well, we're doing this without him. No, we're still doing this with him.
Oh yeah.
He's like to me, he's like the inspiration for us to continue to do this, man. He's the little push or the nudge we need to show up here on a Wednesday evening or a Saturday morning, just to go through this and get it out there and continue what he started with you.
Oh yeah. Well, one of the things I think about is just some of the witty things he said that I'm gonna put on T-shirts eventually. I go back to what do you mean it's Saturday? Like that to me, that was the greatest thing ever.
So. I'm not trying to take over the show, but man, I got a few of them.
Go ahead,
a few
share
good
'em.
moments. And so the first time I met Steven was at church.
Yeah.
And I shared this at his memorial, but it still just cracks me up because I really had to go to the restroom. So I'll go run into the bathroom. Well, it just happened to be UA day. And he was in there UAing every stall, every urinal was taken. And I got to go really bad, and he was like, hey, man, sorry, handling business. And I'm like, I get it, I got to go. And he goes, well, here, you can take one too, and went to hand me a cup. And I'm like, I said, I'll pass, but I'm good. I said, if you better watch out, I might be using the sink. And he goes, no, really, use this, But that was my first meeting with him. I'm like, oh, this guy's cool, And then he was asking somebody a question standing on the stairs going up to the youth room. And he said, hey, I don't know your name or nothing, but could you go see if and I can't remember who it was, but could you go see if such and such is in the sanctuary? And it was somebody's mom, because he was trying to find them.
Yeah.
And I said, I would love to, but I don't know who that is. And then I think Gomez or somebody came by and was able to help him, but I couldn't. But now the funniest one for me is when y'all had me on the show, when I was a guest on the show.
Yes.
I was letting everybody know about the God tier and the fact I had, a lot of dope on me when they caught me. And he looks over at me and he goes, no, wait, now how many pounds was it again? And I need you to break it down into butter, because I can measure things according to butters, because one stick of butter is a pound. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, well, it was like 2 1/8 sticks of butter.
Yeah. And he was like, now where'd it go? What happened to it? And I'm thinking, and you couldn't see my face. I'm thinking, Steven, that is irrelevant to this whole conversation.
But it was so funny, and then that was where the breakthrough with me and him. Like, numerous times he'd walk up and he'd say, come here, give me a hug. And I would hug him soft, because we know I like to squeeze when I hug. And he would say, hug me softly, my back. And then when his back was finally feeling better, he goes, well, hug me like you mean it. And he goes, squeeze me. And I'm like, you sure? And he goes, yeah, my back's good now. Squeeze up high, though. And I'm like, okay. So, but yeah, it was really a turning point. And him and I knuckle bumped, talked. We were outside talking one night, and he comes walking up like Moses with his cane, picking up trash in the front yard. That's just the type of guy he was, And it's just like, man, he never stopped serving God no matter what he was going through.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that is something that I think will always live on. If anybody didn't know him, let me tell you one thing. For the year and a couple of months that I did know him, he never stopped serving God, no matter what he was doing, man. I mean, and I'll take that to my grave as the truth.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it with my own eyes, and that was something that's very admirable.
He definitely had a servant's heart. Like,
yes.
he really didn't like sitting down long enough. Even when he was going through what he was going through, you're like, Steven, go sit down. It hurts. I don't want to.
I firmly believe he knew his purpose.
Oh, yeah.
And his purpose was to be a servant of God and glorify him.
Yeah.
He rarely ever told me no. I don't think maybe 1 or 2 times I'd text him and say, "Hey, you go do this," or I'd call him. He said, "What do you need, sir?" And he'd go do it. Like, he never ever told me no, because he was so close to the church. He could go check on it, or he's kind of like groundkeeper's Willie off of The Simpsons. He was so close, he could take care of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And the last thing, and then I'll let you guys, because you guys had a lot more time with him, probably got a lot better stories. The last thing I will say is that standing in the back where we stand on Sunday mornings, and he's going through a lot, and it wasn't just a few weeks before he couldn't even come.
Yeah.
He was sitting back there in them tall chairs, and dude, during praise and worship, that sucker was back there bobbing in the chair, shaking, just glorifying God and just happy and praising him. Knowing what he was going through, man, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
He didn't stop, no matter what. He did not stop.
Yeah.
And it was just awesome to see that.
Night I gave my testimony, that man could barely walk. But I asked a few of my brothers, and I asked Levi to pray me in, and I'll come up to him, because that's the first time I've seen him. I was like, hey, you come up here with my brothers and pray me in, because I want the people that have helped me through this be up there for me, man. He shook his little way up there, man. And he said, thank you so much, Johnny. Thank you so much for asking me.
Yeah.
You know, and he didn't ever stop.
No.
No, and he didn't have no quit in him.
No,
he fought to the end. I remember when we went and seen him the day before he passed. He kept saying, "I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home." He kept trying to get out of bed, like, "I'm ready to go home." And so, but I think he was ready. Now he's already up there riding his motorcycle. So,
yeah.
But I'm glad I brought that up, because I remember when I think you and I shared it on one episode, I think, where I talk about, I said, "Hey man, I'm thinking about getting into a motorcycle and buying one." He was like, and I said, "Maybe we can ride together one day." And he goes, "Well, I hope I'm around to do that." And so, but I remember when I first got it, he's like, "Did you get a motorcycle?" I was like, "Yeah." And by then he already had his surgery and what have you. And so, but I remember after he had this surgery, I thought he was going to be good.
Me too.
Because us three talked about, we're going to do it together. And,
Yep.
And I don't think we ever did it. It was just, I think from then he just kind of stayed bedridden at that point.
A few days, not too long after that, when he first came back, he hit me and said, "Yeah, I want to, but brother, it'd be an honor if you'd go ahead and continue this with Levi. I've got some things I need to work on."
Yeah.
But yeah, you and I were under the impression that he was coming back.
Yeah.
It was going to be a trio, but
Yeah.
There, man, I still see. I didn't know him there as long, but man, all these little things keep popping into my head. And one of the best days, I don't know if you remember this. You and I came in to do a podcast, and you forgot your keys. I believe he showed up to let us in.
Oh, okay.
And what did we do? We went to the back. He just wanted to hear his road glide.
Yeah.
Or was that you that was with us?
No, I think it was him.
I thought it was Steven, you and me.
It was us, yeah.
And we went back there just to start his motorcycle and let it go. And man, I tell you, he lit up just from it running.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And if you're a biker, you understand, or if you like motorcycles, you understand what I mean by you see the joy in someone's face without even being on one moving.
Yeah, you got to just hear it.
Yeah, just to see it rumbling and hear it, knowing that, hey, that's my bike. There's just a happiness that just engulfs you, you know?
Yeah,
and it did engulf him, knowing that he never got to sit on it again or even pull it out of the garage again. I do remember that. I don't know how many more times he started it after that. And I don't care because that was our moment together and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Because I have a great love for biker stuff and so did he.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done.
Well,
Steven, you are truly missed, brother. Truly missed. We'll see you again one day.
well, I think the bonus of it is we got Johnny. I think, you know, he really admired Johnny, so I think he'd approve Johnny to be on the show. So,
Hey, man, listen, I got a lot of friends. Y'all are my brothers. You're my best friend. I love Danny. Danny's helped take care of me since I got here. But I'm telling you right now, that man, every time he see me, even after my little fall, Johnny, I'm proud of you. Johnny, I thank you for everything you do for us. Because sometimes I feel like people don't see everything I try to do to help out and everything I try to do right. But Steven, whether he was mad at me, whether he was on a tirade, whatever, he would stop me. Johnny, thank you for everything you do. He'd be yelling at me for a minute. I'm like, Steven, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just talk like we were about to go have lunch. You know? But it was always, you're proud of me. And I had a little dream not too long ago. Everybody was having dreams, and I finally had one. And that's what he did. He walked up to me. He said, Johnny, I love you. And thank you for everything you do for us. And then that goes a long way. You know, that to help keep somebody going.
Man. You know, one thing about this show, it actually brought a side of Steven that no one really got to see. You know, we all seen it, but the world really didn't get to see it until he came on the show. Because people in church would be like, because when he's at church, he's like gung-ho.
Go mode.
Yeah, you don't get in his way. He's going to run you over.
Yep.
And so people were coming up to us. Some of the ladies would be like, and they'd stop him and say, I just love seeing him on that show and talking. And then they would just, you know, they come to me and tell me the same thing. And so they really got to see his witty side. Because I remember I'd be in a real serious topic and he'd go, wait a minute. Let's talk about that more. Back that up. You know, and I'd be like, hold on, I'm trying to move on to the next segment. He's like, no, I got something to say. And so, but man, I sure do miss him, and I'm glad that we got to do this today. I think it was long overdue.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a break real quick, and then we're gonna do some closing thoughts of honoring our brother. So you guys got any last things before we go in this next segment? Johnny?
I just miss my buddy, man.
Yeah.
I do every day.
I miss him and I love him.
And I wish I'd have got more time with him.
Yeah.
Because the time I did get with him was pretty cool.
Yeah. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Johnny, how was your break?
I mean, it was all right. We got to hear some more stuff.
I know, that's right. Danny, how was your break?
It was good. It was good. Just listening to my brother sitting here at the table talking about our brother.
Yeah.
That's right.
I know, that's right. What about you, Tank? we were talking about breaks on breaks.
Yeah, just reminiscing about Steven.
You go ahead and share what you said there in the break. Go ahead.
So our breaks, whenever he was on the show with us, or when I was on the show with you guys, let's get it correct.
Yeah.
I got to be a guest with you guys on the show, but we'd take break and he'd go out with water and paper towels and start cleaning the windows in his truck.
He did not waste a minute of the workday. He did not.
Never. No. If he had a moment to be productive, he would be productive. I mean, it's just crazy.
I can imagine him. I can imagine him being asleep and being like,
Yeah, he probably ironed his clothes.
I don't know
and
that he
washed
ever
dishes.
slept because he was always out and about. If somebody was running around, he caught us. It didn't matter. 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If we were doing something, and Stephen would be there.
That's the Holy Spirit keeping him awake.
Yeah.
I
Oh, man.
guarantee that.
I will not question that or even debate you with that because I believe that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
every time I show up at the church just to double check it, and he'd be out there walking his dog, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm doing my nightly routine." I was like, "Oh, okay, fair enough." He actually scared me one time. He's out there with some dog, and I was like,
I thought he was property security because I started in the trailers back there. And then it was like clockwork every night. There were certain times him and Sassy would come out walking. And I'm like, they're patrolling. I'm in the trailer. I'm in the trailer.
Don't come out.
So I'm not leaving.
Johnny, you got any closing thoughts as we honor our brother? Just about, what's one thing that you're going to miss about him?
Man, that encouragement that he gave me. Just the love that he showed. Like I said, like anybody that's been around Steven Dow has most likely had a yelling match with him.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't matter because the man would yell at you like he never wanted to see you again in your life, but he'd go buy you a soda right after. I'm just gonna miss my friend. If I can be half the man for the rest of my life that he was in the 2 years that I've known him, then I'll be a happy man.
Yeah. That's good.
Amen.
What about you, Danny? What's one thing you're going to miss about our brother Steven?
Oh, man.
That's a tough one.
Nachos.
You want to explain this to us?
Nachos. So, Stephen, he would just show up at the shop and, hey, Danny, go get some chips or go get some cheese. I got this and this. And we just throw down on some nachos at break or lunch or just pretty much whenever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that just me and him, I mean, he coming through. I'm like, nachos today. And he's like, okay, what do we need?
Dang.
And, we'd throw down on some nachos. I mean, heaping over.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I got one other thing that I want to say about him was, so there was another pretty hard time that I had while I was here. It was in the shop, and I felt like I was alone out there a lot for quite a while. I mean, I was doing a lot of things for the shop and for a lot of other people all at the same time, and I was ready to throw in the gloves and just ready to walk away from everything. And one thing that he told me was,
Bless him, Lord.
Danny, you're here for a reason. God put you here in this position for a reason. He's going to get you through this. And he would tell me that all the time. You're here for a reason. You're here to help build what Dixie did 20 years ago. You're here to step into positions that people have either stepped away from or have left. So it's time for you to step up and take care of business and to keep on doing what you're doing. And that meant a lot. Man. I mean, because there was times that I thought I was failing.
Praise God, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Tank? What's one thing you're going to remember about our brother Steven?
I remember that even if he wasn't speaking, you could learn something from him.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
could just watch his actions. A lot of times they say, watch what I do, not what I say, or, you hear so many different variations of that.
Yeah.
My experience with Steven is that what he said and what he did, they lined up
Yeah.
for a purpose and encouragement that was God-filled.
Yeah.
And if somebody can prove to me otherwise, I would love to see you try. I might punch you, though, because I don't want to hear nothing bad about that dude.
Yeah.
He was special. After everything he has gone through in life, I'm not going to divulge his information, but he had one heck of a testimony.
Oh, yeah.
Had no reason to be a giver, to continue the purpose that he did. You know what I mean? But he was a giver.
Yeah.
We heard that from two brothers right here, and to me, you know, and to you.
Yeah.
He was a giver, man, and I will never. Now y'all are gonna make me cry just thinking about the fact of who Steven was.
Yeah.
He was an amazing man.
Oh,
period. So I will not forget that no matter what he did or what he said, his words and his actions lined up, and it was for a purpose, and that purpose was to glorify God.
Yeah.
Even after everything he's gone through, that has so much more weight than many people may ever realize.
Yeah.
And some people won't because they don't know. But just trust me, that was a man after God's own heart.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
100%.
so.
And that's what I won't forget.
Yeah. And when Danny said nachos, I have to say this because Steven was so witty. I could see Steven be like, "What's that? Nachos?" And I could just see him taking it because he was so witty. You know, I think about, you know, it's, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but he was stubborn.
Yeah.
He was stubborn. And I remember the first. I always lock the kitchen door at the church. And one day, he's like 100 miles and nothing. He actually hit the door because the door was locked. And he goes, "Who locked this door?" And I said, "I did." And he goes, "Oh, why is this door locked?" And I was like, "Because we got people going there making messes." He goes, "Oh, okay." And then he unlocked the door and he went in.
And made himself some nachos, I guarantee.
It was wild because he would do that. He would get mad. He'd be talking to you. Like I said on the break, man. He'd be tearing into me. I'm like, "Steven, I was gone last week. Well, I don't know what you're talking about." "Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, you want to go over here and help me carry this bed?"
I always got tickled because when we did the service, they talked about how he would just show up. If you asked him if he needs something, I'd be like, "Hey, I need you to come get these donations." And it'd be like less than a few minutes, and he'd be at the back door. I'm like, "When'd he get here?" You said
I just hit send.
Yeah, like, you said you needed something to be donated or picked up. Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was going to be today.
He knew the donations was there. He was just waiting on you to call.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we love our brother Steven. Steven, we love you. That was my favorite part about doing this show. After I get done, I go, "Steven," or I'd start the show. I said, "Steven," and so for one more time, we'll do it. Well, that's how we'll end it. What do you think?
I'm down.
That'd be cool.
Love you, Pops.
Man. So, all right. Well, thank you for watching today. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. If you actually knew Steven, why don't you comment below about your favorite story? I know people watch it at the church. And so, until next time, Steven, Tank, tell them goodbye.
Goodbye and God bless. Steven, you will be missed, brother.